So what is ERP system? To put simply, ERP system, it is a single system that tracks and optimizes flow of three key ingredients: information, materials and cash in a single company. So if you have a single system which tracks only information, you have informational system. If you have single system which tracks cash, it is accountancy system. But if you have something like a single system that tracks and optimizes flow of information, materials and cash in a single company, you have ERP. I believe that is simplest explanation of what is ERP. If these three key ingredients are confusing for you, I mean information, materials and cash, consider it as business model of your company. Any kind of company, it has vendors, it have basically management of your company, and it has customers. So ERP is basically digital business model of your company, which helps to optimize how you deal with customers, how you deal with vendors, and running a bit ahead, how you deal with other parts of your company like general ledger, inventory, and so on and so on. In next video I will describe in bigger details all of that. How ERP tracks sales. All sales are tracked through the sales order, and sales order is basically initiated by customer. Then each sales order should be shipped, then invoice should be sent to customer, and then payment should be received. This is how ERP tracks sales. And quite often when you have customers, if your customers are relatively big, they may ask for sales quote. And also ERP helps to save information about product pricing. Let's say if you want to have different pricing for different customers, this is what you can preserve in ERP. So what do you see here is basically what in ERP systems is named order to cash. Besides that, when you deal with your vendors, you may see something totally different, like for example sales quote. In ERP systems, like for example Acumatica, you have request for quote. What goes next? Like you send request to your vendors or your employees. What happens next? You make purchase order, then you make material receipt, then you receive invoice, and you issue payment to your customers. So for materials which you buy, it is procure to pay. For materials which you sell, it is order to cash. So let's continue. Our next schema, it explains how vendors and customers are connected in scope of ERP system. Quite often they are connected through inventory and general ledger. This is how is usually in ERP connected vendors and customers. This is not the only connection, there are other areas of connecting, but basically inventory, it's like managing of different warehouses. If you have kit items, if you have bundled items, and general ledger is basically something which helps to track cash flow inside of your company. Now I want to highlight important details separately. General ledger. As you can see, everywhere we have arrows going, like request for quotation, it goes outside of your company. Sales quotation, it also goes outside of your company. Then shipment, it is kind of internal process. Customer invoice, it kind of, it have couple of arrows. But take note that general ledger receives incoming arrows. So Request for quotation is connected to general ledger. Sales quotation, it is connected to general ledger. But general ledger doesn't initiate everything, but general ledger receives everything. Now I want to continue and want to describe to you manufacturing facility. If your company has manufacturing, it will obviously create production orders. Those production orders will need to be executed, and because production orders are not made out of nothing, according to law of energy and preservance of energy, material issues, or like taking item from inventory in order to produce something, add value, then finished good receipt. This is basically core manufacturing model. And on this schema you may see that manufacturing may have a bit more features. Like, let's say you have material, you may have planning MRP, which may produce orders based on demands. If there is lack of something from producing, your MRP or your manufacturing facility may trigger purchase request, purchase order, material receipt, inventory, and then production execution. So your manufacturing may have this section, and in other video I will describe other sections of this and other arrows. So as you can see on this schema, we may have planning MRP, we have sales forecast, and sales forecast may be built based on sales order. So this arrow may go to planning MRP, or it may go to sales forecast, like it can be based on that. Also, you may track finished products. Again, this is planning MRP module. Also, here we can see, like, a bit different arrows. And besides that, want to mention that this cycle, or your manufacturing facility, through the inventory or through shipment, customer invoice payment, everything ends up in general ledger. So if to sum up, you see that this is kind of bird eye view of ERP system, any kind of ERP system. Like our company works with Acumatica ERP, maybe we plan to work with other ERPs, but overall this is general schema of ERP. And as you see, it's not just kind of ERP schema, it's basically schema of, let's say, at least distribution business, if to cut this part, or if you have manufacturing business, this is also something that every ERP should be able to track. I would be happy to hear if you found this series of videos useful, and you can express it by your comments and your subscriptions.